Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tonic in the World right here, GC Create TV. And I remain your humble host, Daniel facing down Yasharala. And like you know that on this program, we are here to talk about the word, taking minimum of 4 chapters in a day. So yes, we are starting from where we stopped. Now we're starting with a whole new book. That's the book of Shemu'el Sheniy, 2 Samuel. We take it from chapter 1, we are going straight down to chapter 5, and it says, "Now it came to pass after the death of Shaul, that when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekim, and David had abode 2 days in Siklag, it came even to pass on the 3rd day that behold, a man came out of the camp from Shaul with his clothes rent, and earth was upon his head. And it was said, when he came to El David, that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. And David said unto him, From whence come you? And he said unto him, Out of the camp of Yasharel am I escaped. And David said unto him, How went the matter? I pray you, tell me. And he answered, That the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead. And Shaul and Jehonathan his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, How know you that Shaul and Jehonathan his son be dead? And the man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Shaul leaned upon a spear, and lo, the chariot of an horseman followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me, and I answered, Here I am. And he said unto me, Who are you? And I said, I am an Amaleki. And he said unto me again, Stand, I pray you, upon me, and slay me. For anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and a bracelet that was on his arm, and brought them thither unto my El Adoni. Then David took hold of his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even for Shaul and for Jehonathan his son, and for the people of Yahuwah, and for the house of Yasharel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, Whence are you? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amaleki. And David said unto him, How were you not afraid to stretch forth your hand to destroy Yahuwah's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, Your blood be upon your head, for your mouth has testified against you, saying, I have slain Yahuwah's anointed. And David lamented with this lamentation over Shaul and over Jehonathan his son. Also he bade them teach the children of Yehuda the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the Sefer of Yashar, the beauty of Yasharel is slain upon your high places. How are the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughter of the Philistine rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. The mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew, neither let there be rain upon you, nor field of offerings, for there the shield of the mighty is vilely cast away, the shield of Shaul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jehonathan turned not back, and the sword of Shaul returned not empty. Shaul and Jehonathan were lovely and pleasant in their eyes, in their lives, and in their death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagle, they were stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Yasharel, weep over El Shaul, who clothed you in scarlet with other delights, and put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle? O Jehonathan, you were slain in your high places. I am distressed for you. My brother Jehonathan, very pleasant have you been unto me. Your love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapon of war perished? Chapter 2. And it came to pass after this, that David inquired of Yahuwah, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Yehudah? And Yahuwah said unto him, Go up. And David said, Whither shall I go up? And he said, Unto Chevron. So David went up thither, and his two women also, Achinoam the Israelite, and Abigail, Nabal's woman, the Carmelite, and his men that were with him, did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the city of Chevron. And the men of Yehudah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Yehudah. And they took David, saying that the men of Yavesh Gilad were they that buried Shaul. And David sent servants unto the men of Yavesh Gilad, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of Yahuwah, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Adonai, even unto Shaul, and have buried him. And now Yahuwah show kindness unto and truth unto you, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hand be straightened, and be ye valiant, for your Adonai Shaul is dead, and also the house of Yehudah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Shaul's host, Ishbosheth, took Ishbosheth the son of Shaul, and brought him over to Mechanaim, and made him king over Gilad, and over the over the Ashurim, and over Israel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Yasharel. Ishbosheth, Shaul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Yasharel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Yehudah followed David. And the time that David was king in Chevron over the house of Yehudah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner the son of Ner, the servant of Ishbosheth, the son of Shaul, went out from Mechanaim to Givon, and Joab the son of Seruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Givon, and they sat down, the one on this one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now arise and play before you. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth and the son of Shaul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust a sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called Kelkat at Surim, which is in Givon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Yasharel before the servants of David. And there were three sons of Seruiah there, Joab and Abishai and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going, he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Are you Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn aside to your right or to your left, and lay hold on one of the young men and take his armor. But Asahel turned not aside from following of him. And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite you to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab, your brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smite him under the fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lies before Giach, by the way of the wilderness of Givon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of the hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Know you not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere you bid the people return from following their brethren? And Joab said, As Elohim lives, unless you have spoken, surely then in the morning, surely then in the morning, the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. So Joab blew a shofar, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Yasharel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked walked all that night through the plain, and passed over the Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Machanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lagged of David's servants 19 men, and Asahel. And the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Asahel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. Chapter 3. Now there was long war between the house of Shaul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Shaul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam the Israelite, and a second Kilav of Abigail the woman of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom the son of Maachar, the daughter of Talma king of Geshur. The fourth Adoniyahu, the son of Kagiith, And the fifth, Shephath Yahu, pardon me, Shephath Yahu, the son of Avital. And the sixth, Yithream, by Eglah, David's woman. And there were born to David in Hebron. And it came to pass, while there was war between the house of Shaul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Shaul. And Shaul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, wherefore have you gone in unto my father's concubine? Then was Abner very wroth in the words of Ishbosheth, and said, am I a dog's head, which against Yehuda do show kindness this day unto the house of Shaul your father, to his brethren and to his friend, and have not delivered you into the hands of David, that you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman? So do Elohim to Abner, and more also, except as Yahweh has sworn to David. Even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Shaul, and to set the throne of David over Yashreal, and over Yehuda, from Dan even to Beersheba. And he could not number Abner, he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to El David on his behalf, saying, who's in the land? Saying also, cut your covenant with me, and behold, your hand shall be with you to bring about all Yashreal unto you. And he said, well, I will cut the covenant with you, but one thing I require of you, that is, you shall not face me, except you first bring Michal, Shaul's daughter, when you come to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Shaul's son, saying, deliver me my woman Michal, which I espouse to me for 100 foreskin of the Philistine. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from Ammon, even from Paltiel, the son of Laish. And Ammon went with her along, weeping behind her to Bar to Bakurim. Then said Abner unto him, go, return. And he returned. And Abner had communications with the elders of Yashreal, saying, ye sought for David in times past to be king over us. Now then do it. For Yahweh has spoken to El David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Yashreal out of the hand of the Philistine, and out of the hand of their enemies, of all their enemies. And Abner also spoke in the ears of Benjamin. And Abner went to speak in the ears of David in Hebron all that seemed good to Yashreal, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to El David to Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and that men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto El David, I will arise and go. I will gather all Yashreal unto my El Adonai, the king, that they may cut a covenant with you, and that you may reign over all that your heart desires. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he has sent him away, and is gone in peace. And Joab came to the king and said, what have you done? Behold, Abner came unto you. Why is it that you have sent him away, and he is quite gone? You know Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive you, and to know your going out and your coming in, and to know all that you do. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah. But David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the fifth rib, that he died, for the blood of Asahel his brother. And after, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before Yahuwah forever, from the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab, and on all his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab one that has an issue, or that is a leper, or that leans on a staff, or that falls on the sword, or that lacks bread. So Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asahel at Givon in the battle. And David said unto Joab and to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes and gird you with sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the coffin. And they buried Abner in Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, Died Abner as a fool dies. Died Abner as a fool dies. Your hands were not bound, nor your feet put in fetters, as a man falls before wicked men. So fell you. And all the people wept again over him. And when the people came to cause David to eat meat while it was yet day, David swore, saying, So do Elohim to me, and more also, if I taste bread or aught else till the sun be down. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did please all the people. For all the people and all Yasharel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner of the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, Know ye not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Yasharel? And I am this day weak, though anointed king, and these men are sons of Seruiah. Be too hard for me. Yahuwah shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. Now we're in chapter 4. And when Shaul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all Yasharel were troubled. And Shaul's son had two men that were captains of bands, and the name of the one was Baana, and the name of the other Rekav, the son of Eruthi of the children of Benjamin, for Beroth also was reckoned to Benjamin. And the Berothim fled to Gittayim, and were sojourners until this day. And were sojourners there until this day. Pardon me. And Jehonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame of his feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came to Shaul and Jehonathan out of Israel. And his nurse took him up and fled. And it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth. And the son of Rimmon, the Berothi, Rekav, and Bahana went and came about the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth, who lay on the bed at noon. And they came thither into the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat, and they smote under him the fifth rib, and Rechab and Bernard his brother escaped. And when they came into the house, he lay on his bed in his bedchamber, and they smote him, and slew him, and beheaded him, and took his head, and got him away through the plain all night. And they brought the head of Ishbosheth unto El David to Kevron, and said to the king, Behold the head of Ishbosheth the son of Shaul your enemy, which sought your life, and Yahuwah has avenged my Adoni the king this day of Shaul and of his seed. And David answered Rechab and Bahanah his brother, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothi, and said unto them, As Yahuwah lives, who has redeemed my soul out of all adversities, when one told me, saying, Behold, Shaul is dead, thinking to have brought good news, I took hold of him and slew him in Siklag. Who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tiding? How much more, when wicked men have slain a righteous man in his own house upon his bed? Shall I not therefore now require his blood of your hand, and take you away from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and slew them, and cut off their heads and their feet, and hanged them up over the pool of Kevron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Kevron. The last chapter for the day, chapter 5. Then came all the tribe of Yasharel to El David unto Kevron, and spoke, saying, Behold, we are your bone and your flesh. Also in time past, when Shaul was king over us, you were he that led out and brought in Yasharel. And Yahuwah said to you, You shall feed my people, Yasharel, and you shall be a captain over Yasharel. So all the elders of Yasharel came to the king to Kevron, and King David cut a covenant with them in Kevron before Yahuwah, and they anointed David king over Yasharel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Kevron, he reigned over Yehuda 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned 30 years over all Yasharel and Yehuda. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Yevusim, the inhabitants of the land, and spoke unto David, saying, Except you take away the blind and the lame, you shall not come in thither. Thinking David cannot come in thither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Sion, and the same is the city of David. And David said on that day, Whosoever gets up to the gutter and smite the Yevusim, and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul, they shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, the captain and the blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So David dwelt in the fort, and called it the city of David. And David built round about from Millo and inward. And David went on and grew great. And Yahuwah Elohai Shevoth was with him. And Kiram, king of Saul, sent messenger to El David, and cedar trees, and carpenters, and mason, and they built David a house. And David perceived that Yahuwah had established him king over Yasharel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Yasharel's sake. And David took him more concubine and women out of Jerusalem after he was with Kevron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to him. And these are the names of those that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Shammua, and Shova, and Shovav, and Nathan, and Shaloma, Yik, Yivka also, and Elishua, and Nepheg, and Yaphia, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Elipheleth. But when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Yasharel, all the Philistines came up to seek David, and David heard of it and went down to the hold. And the Philistines also came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of Yahuwah, saying, shall I go up to the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hands? And Yahuwah said unto David, go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistine into your hand. And David came to Baal Perathim, and David smote them there, and said, Yahuwah has broken forth upon my enemies before me, as the breach of the water. Therefore he called the name of the place Baal Perasim, and there they left their images, and David and his men burned them. And the Philistines came up yet again and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David inquired of Yahuwah, he said, you shall not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come upon them over and against the mulberry tree, and let it be, when you hear the sound of the going in, of a going in the tops of the mulberry tree, that then you shall bestir yourself, and for then shall Yahuwah go out before you to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did so, as Yahuwah has commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba until you come to Gezer. Wow. Just look at that. Now, if you look at David, he made himself a good example to the people, that in nothing he do, he inquire of Yahuwah before he make the move. Now, here's the question. How many of you all in this truth today do inquire from Yahuwah before you make some move, before you do some things? Though there are some things that will be good in our very eyes, that let us do it. But the question is, no matter what, have you tried your best to inquire of Yahuwah, that Yahuwah, these things that I want to do, should I do it or not? Look at how Shaul as well did his. He was not patient enough. He thought if he could make the sacrifice all by himself, that he will overcome the enemies. But he made the sacrifice behind Shemuel, and when Yahweh do it, because of what he did, by taking the action without inquiring from Yahuwah, that gave him a judgment assigned to him. Is that maybe it is not good? Though there might be good ideas, but let us also cultivate the habit to be like in David, that whatsoever he wants to do, he go to Yahuwah to make inquiries, and when Yahuwah tell him go, then he will go. So with this, we make it a roundup of this episode of the show. I still remain your humble host, Daniel Yasharala. And with this, I say shalom and bye for now.